everybody, welcome into the show tonight. I'm Brian Keating alongside Hannah Hoover. And it's time for Crashing the Boards on a Sunday night after a showdown
What a
Saturday.
wild weekend we had there.
We did have a wild weekend. It was billed as, one of the biggest Saturdays in a while. You had OU Tennessee, you had Oklahoma State and Utah. Neither one of them won their football game. We'll get to both of them in just a second. Let's start with the University of Oklahoma, who was at home against the Tennessee Volunteers, and that meant Josh Heupel back in town. And so that was plenty of the build-up before the game. College game day was here, all the things, the packed house, psychotic environment, one of the best environments at Memorial Stadium in a while. And really, I'll give it up to the fans because they were outstanding throughout. Even though Tennessee came in, it was Nico Iamaleava, finished with 194 yards passing and a touchdown. The biggest story and what we'll talk about is the quarterback situation, right? Out goes Jackson Arnold, in comes Michael Hawkins. He had some good moments, had some bad moments, but plenty of moments that make you think he might be the guy, and here's the head coach after the game.
He has some playmaking ability. He can, hurt you with his legs, but that can't be your game. And but we did have a few drives where we got into a nice rhythm, and he showed that he can, make some plays. And then there's some plays out there too that we have opportunities there that we didn't execute. We didn't make the throws. But that's the game of football. So, but in his first, real action, there's some things that, that you liked about it, and certainly things that you didn't.
So that's the head coach, and he was not obviously thrilled with his team's performance on a lot of Saturday night. What'd you think? What's the situation, and what's this OU team moving forward?
We've talked a lot about Jackson Arnold through 3 games. We didn't see just a ton from him, but they won those games. So it's a little easier to walk away thinking maybe he can do this. You have a Tennessee team, SEC caliber, number 6, number 5 now with the AP polls, and they're very good on defense, and it was just Jackson Arnold couldn't get anything going. And so I'm going to say, now, Michael Hawkins Jr., my brother, funny enough, played with him in Pee Wee football. How funny is that? Everyone called him Mike, so that's how I know him. Mike with the wheels, okay? And that's just really what I see from him is Brent Venables said it, he can make those plays happen. He has a playmaking ability. It's fun to watch him. He had 2 scoring drives late in the 4th quarter. So it was promising. I don't know if it's more of a Band-Aid per se, but I think that's what this week is going to tell us. Hopefully we'll see who, can shine at Auburn on the road. These are 2 young quarterbacks who don't have much road game experience, or any, I should say.
No, they don't. You're right. Here's the deal. You change quarterbacks. You can't go back now. You can't. Okay. It's Mike's team. You can't go back. It's Jackson Arnold thing is over. They made the decision. That's what happened. You can't go back. It is Mike's team. I don't know him like you do, so we won't go.
I don't know him that well,
we
but that's
won't
what
go
they called him in
but no,
fourth grade.
You can't go back now. It is Michael Hawkins' team, and here's the deal. I was going to write offensive. That's what I was going to write, but I think you're right. Offensively, they have been offensive. There are 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference. Oklahoma is 15th in scoring offense in the SEC. They are 15th in rushing offense in the SEC. Jackson Arnold was 17th in passing offense. Come on, you can't go back. Jackson Arnold, I don't know where he'll be playing football next season, but I do not expect it to be the University of Oklahoma. They have turned the page. It is Mike's team. They made their decision on Saturday night, and that's what it's got to be moving forward. You brought it up what they have coming up next week, and they go on the road against Auburn, which, by the way, is right here on Channel 5. We're very excited about that. We'll have the pregame show live from Alabama at 10 o'clock next Saturday. But this is a big one for OU. What do you expect now moving forward? Because all of a sudden at Oklahoma's 3-1, this is a big football game, which, by the way, you look down there at the bottom, OU's a favorite in.
All right, OU is a favorite there. Well, I'll tell you, Auburn has some troubles of their own in quarterbacks.
Auburn lost to Arkansas, by the way, on Saturday.
And OSU beat Arkansas. We just have all that in the background there. But they're having trouble at quarterback. They benched their quarterback from last week, Peyton Thorne. Then in comes Hank Brown. He threw 3 interceptions in the first half, and they go back to Peyton Thorne. So needless to say, the defense of OU, we know they're good. They proved that against Tennessee. They have an opportunity to really keep to keep themselves in the game, give them a fighting chance no matter who their quarterback is. So I'm going to say road game rally. You want to get the 4th win, and Brent Venables also just spoke on that. Like, we got to figure out a way to get that 4th win, and they have an opportunity to do that on the road, I believe, because this is a team they can really, make the most of their opportunity.
So here's the situation, and I don't like to be hyperbolic, and I don't like to throw out crazy things here on TV. It's a game OU has to win. If they want to, it's 6 wins Saturday, and you might think, well, boy, they only played 4 games. They got 8 to go. What do you mean 6 wins? They only got to win 3 more. So let me ask you who they're going to beat here. Whether they're playing a freshman quarterback now,
Let's see
his team. Okay, at Auburn, you better win it, because next you got number 1 Texas, South Carolina coming home. Okay, we'll call it. You better win that one too, because then you go to Ole Miss, who's ranked number 6 in the country. You got Maine coming back to Norman late in the year. You better win that one, because then you got to go at Missouri, who's ranked number 11.
Very good team.
You got Alabama coming to your place, and you go to LSU. So
it's not forgiving.
If you're going to get to 6 wins, you have to win on Saturday. And maybe you think, Brian, you're being a little bit tough on them. They can win some of those games, and that's right. But, I mean, who are you really going to beat?
Yeah.
Playing a freshman quarterback.
This is an opportunity.
They haven't looked like a team that's ready to roll here. I don't care what anybody says. So you better win Saturday, or you're staring down the barrel of a team that the last time they didn't go to a bowl game was 1998. It's just the facts. They better win Saturday.
We'll see if they
at
can
Auburn.
do it.
But it won't be easy.
Anything can happen,
and
yeah.
you're playing a freshman. So the season, I don't know, teetering, but you're at a crossroads, and I don't know which direction they'll go, but I know they need to win on Saturday. There's no question about that. Another team which, by the way, needs to win on Saturday and didn't play well and changed their quarterback. Oklahoma State and Utah coming up. Welcome back to the show tonight. Brian Keating, Hannah Hoover. Let's talk about the game in Stillwater, which you had 2 of the leading front runners to be to the Big 12 championship game, win the Big 12 in Oklahoma State and Utah. OSU got a break, by the way, because Cam Rising, who was their starting quarterback, did not play in the game. They're playing Isaac Wilson, a backup quarterback. And you know what? Utah they ran them over.
I did not think this was going to happen.
No, the score is not indicative of how this game went at all. OSU rallied late to get it close enough to 22-19, but they got beat up pretty good. Alan Bowman was replaced by Garrett Rangel, who didn't play well. Then Bowman comes back in. OSU ran the ball for a whopping 48 yards. 48 yards rushing.
Can't do
the
that.
game was not this close, and Utah's the winner.
I have a ton of respect for them. Ton of class organization, well coached, great guys after the game, very first class all the way, and came and played physical and ran the ball. But I felt like I told the team, you guys gave them a game. Okay, offensively we were awful. We couldn't get any quarterback play. They won the game, but we certainly did a lot of things to help them, and so we try to avoid that here, but we didn't today.
asked Mike Gundy after the game. I'm a little surprised. He rarely calls out his guys, but he's right. They got quarterback play that was not good enough.
It was a slow start, and like you said, the score doesn't reflect the
Not
entire
indicative
game.
of how the game went, no.
You have 2 interceptions from Alan Bowman, 206 yards, 2 TDs. But it just doesn't tell the full story, not to mention Ollie Gordon has 42 yards rushing. They can't get that run game going. But my major pressure point is this is a veteran quarterback and someone who's been playing for quite some time. So I just feel like it's more QB questions. This is the narrative of Saturday across the board. Really every game we're going to be talking about is what's going on at quarterback and why can't things turn around quickly. And so hopefully they have an opportunity. We'll talk about that in a little bit against K-State. But I think at the end of the day, they've got to stay on the field longer to give themselves a fighting chance. That defense was out on the field way too long, and it felt like every other second they were getting off the bench, going back out there.
It's true. You can't get first downs, and the simple, you can't run, you can't win. And this team's built with their running game. They had veteran offensive line coming back. They're one of the best players in the country, and Ollie Gordon. Running the football, but if you can't run, you can't win. And they can't run it. It's an embarrassing product the way that they're putting and running offense out there. Ollie Gordon has run in the last 3 games for 42 yards, 41 yards, and 49 yards. This is the guy that won the Doak Walker Award. They can't block anybody. They're not getting good enough quarterback play, but it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback if you can't run the football, and they cannot run the football. They got to get that worked out. I'm not even going to go off on Casey Dunn, who I think at times isn't always the best offensive coordinator, outstanding wide receiver, but you don't go there. They can't run the football, and the season, they got a lot of football left to play. I still think their ceiling is pretty high, but right now, they can't run the football, can't win football games. Coming up next, you got Kansas State on the road, and so you got Utah, who's the preseason favorite. Kansas State was picked number 2. If you're going to threaten to get to that Big 12 championship game, I suggest you win that one.
Most definitely. Yeah. K-State, Avery Johnson just did not impress this week against BYU. It was one of those situations where you're kind of scratching your head. He did great in the run. I feel like that's really where he thrives, is in the run game, but they just didn't open much up. Both of these teams have everything to prove going to this game. And so that's what I would say. I mean, they're out for blood in some ways. Like, they have got to win. As you said, if you want to get to a Big 12 championship, you're gonna have to get that win. And so I think this one is a big one. Historically, K-State is a great football team. I still think they're a great football team.
They're a good team.
They were neck and neck with Tulane, but at this point in the season, this is a very important game for both teams. They've got to get the win. Both
teams are going to be hungry, I assure you that. And I think this is the big question. It's a lot like Oklahoma trying to get the 6 wins. If Oklahoma State, if they don't win, still relevant Saturday?
Okay.
Are you still going to be relevant after Saturday? Because if you've lost already to the preseason favorite in the Big 12 and the number 2 team, are you going to be relevant after Saturday? If you win, the answer is yes. But if you lose, the answer is probably no.
I mean, they've been knocked down quite a bit from 6 places.
They didn't lose to a bad team, but they didn't win. Mm-hmm. And if they don't win here, they're in big, big trouble as far as getting to that Big 12 title game. Stay with us. One more thing is next.